Hey, I'm Tanya Franklin, and welcome to Tricks My Dog Taught Me, a podcast for lighthearted and occasional deep conversations with family and friends, revolving around my journey as a dog mom to my little guy, Zach the Toy Poodle, which prompted me to self-publish my first book, Shit My Dog Taught Me, where I share some insights through poetry and weekly life lessons. And so for today's episode, I had to invite my friend first, hairstylist, and favorite workout partner,
Mm,
Tracie Stroman. We met through kickboxing and instantly clicked as the both of us share our over the top obsession with hitting the gym and fitness. So,
mhm.
and
Yes.
we are never too proud to shout it
Yes.
from the rooftops, whoever's
Mhm.
going to listen about our
Mhm.
fitness journeys.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just thought to myself, this lines up perfectly with week 12's poem from my book, and it's a haiku and it's called Never Too Proud. And while the inspiration of the poem, it's based on Zach's ability to sleep just about anywhere. It's more than that. And so I just want to share it with you and our listeners to give some context before we jump into the conversation.
Mhm.
Okay, Never Too Proud. The couch, bed or floor, legs outstretched in a slumber, dreams calling my name. So, very short since it's a haiku. And there's
Mhm.
all these different definitions with the word proud. So I looked a few up, and Cambridge Dictionary gave some good ones. So the first one says, feeling pleasure and satisfaction because you or people connected with you have done or gotten something good. So for me, that definition, it's like I'm definitely proud of my family and friends and
Mhm.
students who've been putting in that work and they've achieved their
Mhm.
goals, overcome different obstacles. And so I felt so proud when my daughter Quinn and bestie Michelle did their first 5K run with me, and they were just running alongside, crossing the finish line and the Rocky Run. That was awesome. So, and then my sister, even when she changed careers and she
Mhm.
worked really hard to
Mhm.
become a nurse, I just was like, wow, that is amazing, because a lot of people are
Mhm.
like, I guess that's it for me. So I was definitely
Mhm.
proud of her. And there's so many different moments when I see improvement in my students' writing, and I am extremely proud of them and their progress,
Mhm.
especially when they start the semester and they're like, I don't think I can do this, or I'm a lousy writer. So I'm wondering for you, who or what are you proud of in life?
I am proud of my family and especially both of my 2 children, my adult children. So, I'm very proud of both of them have different paths, and my son has always been more of a kid who always had, like, the best grades and did really, really well in school and accomplished everything that he set out to accomplish, and he had more of a smooth journey, but that doesn't mean that it still wasn't difficult also. So I'm really proud of him also just watching him turn into a grown man. Now he's 24 years old and he has the
Mhm.
success. He graduated from college, got a nice young lady to spend his life with. I'm proud of all those things. And then on the other side, I have my daughter and exceedingly proud, a different journey. Both of my kids are like highly intelligent, highly gifted. And she's had more of a tough road to travel even with all of that, but she still keeps pursuing. She keeps trying on,
Mhm.
and she's such a sweetheart. But she has a lot of different adversities, mental challenges that had to come through her life that she had to struggle through, along with getting the same type of grades that my son did, which is amazing. And I actually do not know if I had those challenges, how I would do, because I didn't have
Mhm.
the same I had challenges, but not the same kind. So that, sometimes you try to put yourself into someone else's shoes and it's like, I really don't even know how I would do. You give advice and you say, this is what you gotta do, this is what you gotta do. It's easier said than done. But watching her it amazes me. It truly does. So I'm very
Mm.
proud of both of them. Yeah. Mhm.
That's awesome. I mean, I
And
think
what was
it's
the second part of the
wonderful when we
question?
can be proud. Just you answered it. It's good. Like who or what, are you proud of? So yeah, definitely. No, this is perfect. Yeah. So okay, so before we move on to the next definition, especially since you brought up being proud of your children, sometimes I struggle with the idea of people being proud of me. And,
Mm,
while it makes me feel good, and, I started out a lot when I was younger, wanting my parents to be proud of me, my teachers, whoever to be proud of me.
mhm,
I now find that it's short-lived, and what I mean by that is, I might put so much stock in what others think, and I'm
mm,
hoping that they'll be proud of me, and so now
mhm,
it's kinda come full circle because of my daughter. She's much younger than, your son and daughter, Quinn,
mhm,
and I'm very proud of her, but it's this weird feeling now because I don't want her sole driving force in all of her actions and decisions to be based on making me proud, because
mm,
that was something I used to do a lot when I
mm,
was younger. Now, mind you, it helped me keep going because it was always on to the next thing. I want my parents to be proud. And if they
mhm.
weren't, or I didn't feel that they were, that's okay. Next time, they're going to be proud next time.
Right.
And I think that that could be a little toxic sometimes,
Mm,
chasing that idea of those who I respect and love being proud of me. And so I do sometimes get concerned that I don't want to put that type of pressure where
mm.
it's like my daughter feels the need to make me proud. Like it's wonderful if I am, but I don't want her to feel like that has to be everything. Have you ever struggled in that area or ever think about anything like that?
To say no, actually.
Good.
So I must, because as you're speaking of it, I'm sitting there thinking, like, did I feel a need to try to make them proud? I wanted them to be proud. Now,
Yeah.
definitely wanted them to be proud. But I think that fortunately, I grew up with the idea that they were just definitely going to be. I kind of
Mhm.
felt like they were going to be. Now, I definitely did not want to disappoint.
Yeah.
So I do know that, like, it was certain things that have how I was raised, that it was like a certain criteria of what I was supposed to be. So there were definitely boundaries that I guess you would call them hard nose, that
Mm.
if I did that, that would disappoint them greatly. So maybe it's a different term. It may be the same thing, but a different term on how I viewed it. It was view of these hard no's right here are the ones that will make my parents disappointed. They will not
Mm.
think that I am the daughter that they raised me to be if I go too far off of course. So, although there were definitely some things that I was raised to do that I didn't, and I didn't do that, and I didn't feel some type of way about it, tell you the truth. I was just like, as long as these core things are in place, they are going to be proud of me. That's kinda how I view it. It was like,
Mhm.
maybe it had to be, I don't know, let's say it was 5. These 5 things had to be in place in order for them to not be disappointed with me. If I did these 5 things, I run the risk of disappointing my parents, and I can't handle it. Like, for me, I can't handle that. So those are things that are in my core belief also. I can't go these 5 things I can't do. I just
Mhm.
cannot do those things. And they may be good for other people, but they're not good for me. And I will think differently of myself even because it was so ingrained also. It was so ingrained in me that certain things were a barrier for me. And and I kind of stuck to those things to tell you the truth. I stuck to those things. I ain't stick to all of them, but those little things, yeah, some of the things I didn't stick to, I definitely didn't stick to all of them. And I do remember not feeling too bad about that because I said, at least if I don't do this, I'm good. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm do you and do your parents know that? Have you ever shared that with them?
You know what?
Okay.
I have never shared it with them at all, but I do see that those things that I had in my mind, I'm not gonna really mention what they were, but
Yeah.
those things that I had in my mind, those were the core things. It was the core things. It was the core things. It's like that was it. Those are the things right there. You may be some other things you may want. I think it goes with wants and needs. I may want this. They may want that, but they need this.
Mhm.
And in turn, I needed it too. It turned out to be that I needed those things too in order to feel good about myself. So I think in terms of children, you teach them how you're gonna teach them. They're gonna be their own person. What I want
Mhm.
you to do, the core thing that I want my kids to be is good people.
Yes.
Good people. If you're a good person, you're an honest person, and you are happy, I am going to be proud. And you're self-sufficient. Those are 5 little that's like maybe 3 things right there. You have to do those
Mhm.
things. You have to. I'm not gonna be disappointed with anything else. If anything else, I'm not gonna be disappointed, but I'm going to be proud with a good person who's self-sufficient and is happy.
I
I'm
love
proud.
that. I love
That's
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you shared that with them?
Huh. Sometimes you think they know, right?
Yeah, that's why I asked you that
Yes.
question is
Well,
because
you know what? Since
sometimes we
you know
think
now
they
that
know, and I
right,
think that that's what the driving force was for me, is that
right,
I didn't always know, so I was always chasing what I thought was
would
going
be
to
it.
make them proud.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Mhm.
think that definitely they know. A lot of conversations, with my daughter because she struggles with so many things. So
Mhm.
we constantly, reaffirm how proud we are. We do. Even if this didn't happen, that doesn't matter. This is what's happening now. I'm proud of the person that you are. And my son most definitely knows. So I think that they
That's
do know.
good.
I
That's
don't think that
good.
they strive to I think sometimes maybe, but not so much. Not so much, because their lives are their own,
Yeah.
you know? Just like
And
your life is your
I
own,
love
my life is my own.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love that because
Mhm.
unfortunately there's a lot of people who they don't necessarily have that philosophy. So
Mm.
definitely. So there's this other definition I found and it says uh having or showing respect for yourself. And
Mhm.
so I like that idea of proud. So, when I
Mhm.
think about how far I've come in life and not just I've talked a lot about my self-esteem in
Mhm.
previous episodes, so that certainly
Mhm.
is something. But just even where I've come from, like the actual neighborhood that I came from and where I
Mhm.
am currently, and this isn't to take anything away from where I came from, but just in being proud and saying, wow, I worked really hard. And I don't want to just use the word proud, but I want
Mhm.
to commingle that with grateful.
Grateful's
So
good. Yeah, I
grateful.
like that.
So
Mhm. Mhm.
like from where I live currently, and not just in a physical state, but in a mental state as well. And
Mhm.
what I've accomplished academically, when I think about all of the chips that were stacked against me when I was
Mhm.
younger, and
Mhm.
certain pathways that perhaps the average person might think that they weren't available to them, that I was able to overcome obstacles.
Mhm.
That makes me feel grateful. That makes me feel proud. And also I have to say, helping other people in different ways, it makes me
Right.
feel proud. Not that that's right, I'm able to help them and look at me, but more
Right.
so of I'm able to help them learn how to do something, and then I see them being able to do it without my assistance, and that makes
Right.
me feel proud because I can
Right.
then sit back and observe. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So, I'm wondering what makes you a proud person?
Sort of like what you said, like just thinking about different things of where I came from and how far I've been. The choices and even just some of the recoveries of some setbacks. A lot of setbacks, some setbacks and then the recovery of those setbacks as well. You know, I think those are the things that I'm proud of. And then just recently when I lost all the weight after a lifelong struggle, because that
Mhm.
was just like a really big battle for me, my pretty much my entire adult life. And not only adult life, but even I struggle with weight when it comes to my teenage life. Just the whole entire time. I didn't have that period where most people have it where, oh, I just started gaining weight after babies. I had this weight beforehand and just couldn't get my grasp on it. Not consistently. That's the word. Because I would do it and then I would go back. I would do it and then I would go back. But to actually get a grasp on it where you like, yeah, I'm not going back, even though it is still difficult. It is most definitely still difficult, but it's doable and it's worth doing. I'm prepared for the work that it takes. Whereas I was not necessarily prepared to undertake how much work it would take. I didn't even understand how much work it would take. I'm thinking you do it and then you just have willpower and you go ahead and that's it. And it actually takes a whole lot more than that, but I'm willing to do what it takes to do it. That's the whole thing. In healthy manners
Mhm.
though. Anything healthy to do that way. But that one I'm very proud of because of how hard that's more of a personal struggle of mine. So I think that one makes me the most proud outside of my children and my husband and my family.
Mhm.
If it was just my
Mhm.
own personal thing, I think it actually makes me a little bit more prouder than it is of me having my own business in a way. It actually supersedes that, tell you the truth.
Why? I mean, I
Yeah, I
think I
know,
know
right? I
why,
just
but
thought of
yeah,
that.
well, yeah, that I think
I
that's
know.
great. So what makes you
Yeah.
feel that way?
Well, that just occurred to me, but, but probably because Imma say having losing the weight was ha and keeping it off, like, now it's like we going into I got it off around 2021, and now we're in 2026. So, that's about 5 years, I would say, right?
Mhm.
That was harder for me than getting my business. That's why. That
Mm.
was harder for me than opening up a salon, and the salon has been open now for since 2010, so that's actually been, this 16 years now we're going on, so that is actually a long time, and I'm very,
Mhm.
very proud of that. That's my 2nd, but, that came naturally to me. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Even though that is hard, that's difficult, but for me, only for me, that came naturally to me. It was kind of like a natural course of action after working in so many other salons and working for other people. It was the natural thing to do for me. It fits my personality. It just fits me. It's almost like even when I was working at other people's salons, it was pretty much obvious, even if it wasn't obvious to me at the time. And I don't think it was obvious to me, but it was obvious to other people. It was obvious to the owner. It was obvious to the stylist. It was obvious to the clients that I was meant to be the owner.
Mhm.
That's what it was. I was walking around looking like the owner even though I wasn't, which made it hard for the owner. And now I understand why they had difficult times with me.
'Cause you was walking around like a proud person, like, "That's right."
I'm just handling business. And so what happened was the actual owner of the salon, their clients would look to me and would be like, "Is she the owner?" Because it would look like it. I'm the one coming on time. I'm the one setting things up. I'm asking them if they're okay. Because I felt like this is what needed to be done. I would see what needed to be done and didn't ask to do it. Just go ahead and do it. And it came off. Some some owners didn't necessarily like that.
Mm.
And some liked it up until they recognized that their clients was looking at me like I was the owner. So yeah, so I needed to get my own salon,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed to get it was
Mhm.
just a natural thing to do. I needed to get my own salon. It's just like, "Okay, you need to get your own salon. Everybody thinks you're the owner. You might as well be the owner." You know?
Yeah. So, sometimes even in being a proud person and people recognizing that, and when I say a proud person, I don't
Mhm,
mean because I have one more definition. I don't mean this next
mhm,
definition that I'm about to give, but
mhm,
the idea that people they see it, they gravitate towards you, they see
mhm,
something in you. So this
mhm,
last definition, it's not as uplifting as the
mhm,
others, and it
mhm,
says that the word proud is feeling that you're better or
mm,
more important
mm,
than other people. So the poem, it's
mm,
called Never Too Proud. And I'll
mhm,
say that for me, it's like I've never been too proud, like, especially when it comes to working, like you mentioned, like your job, and at one point you're working at a salon and then eventually owning your own salon. And so for me,
Mhm.
like working from the bottom to the top, that's not ever been an issue for me, as
Mhm.
long as I'm not being disrespected, like,
Right.
as long as a
Right.
person's not talking down to me or treating me in a harsh way. So I
Mhm.
remember feeling so proud to work at McDonald's,
Mhm.
and you know, I was never too proud. I'm cleaning tables, I'm taking out the trash on rare occasion, I'm
Mhm.
straightening up the bathroom if no one's there to do it. And I remember some of the other workers, and mind you, I'm a college student, so most of us there are fairly young. There's a few people who are a little bit older, but most of us are
Mhm.
fairly young, and they're scoffing at me. And I remember one of them is like, "What are you supposed to be, Prince Akeem, from Coming to America?" With McDowell's. And I was so grateful to have a job, and I was like employee of the month constantly. And I wasn't
Mm.
doing it to be employee of the month. I was doing it because I was proud to have a job, and I didn't feel like like people are like, "Oh, I don't do tables or I don't do this. Oh, you want me to take out trash? I just got hired to
Mhm.
be a cashier or whatever."
Right.
Any job I've ever had, if they say, "Oh, we need you to do this," and then oftentimes they didn't even have to ask me. I
Mhm.
was already doing it. Like, if I saw the trash can was overflowing, or I saw that there was areas where people left their ketchup wrappers or whatever, I'm
Mhm.
going and cleaning it up. And that's the way I've operated in every
Mhm.
job that I've ever had. And for me, it's more so of I'm proud and I'm honored to have this opportunity. And it's not a matter of something being beneath me. Like, even
Right.
in my credentials now, I know that
Mhm.
someone might say, "Oh, you won't do this, you won't do that." Even when and we've dined together, and we need to
Mhm.
set something up soon, but we've dined
Yeah.
together. Even in dining together, if, the meal's almost over, and I think that both of us do this, we start
Mhm.
setting up the, like, our plates and everything, putting them
Mhm.
together nice and neat
Mhm.
so that when the server or the busser comes to take it away, that it makes it easier for them. And there are some people who they're too proud to even do that. "That's not my
Mhm.
job. I work here."
Mhm.
And
Right.
so I mean, that's their prerogative, but I'm wondering, have you ever felt too proud to do something in life?
Can't think of something. It might be something, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think of it offhand. I
Yeah.
can't think of it offhand. Not necessarily, well, you said too proud to do it, too proud to do it, too proud to.
Or even if you say, "I'm not too proud. I'm okay with doing this."
Oh, well, yeah, they're similar to, like, what you're saying, like,
Yeah.
which was the thing, like, when I was in other people's salons, and I would just start doing things, like, even when it came down to I'm a stylist, like, I was, like, one of the lead stylists in the salon, and we working in Center City at this time, and even when if the owner was sitting there and her client and the owner wasn't there yet, and I'm there, and I already shampooed my client, I would go ahead and shampoo her client for her too. That's what I would do. Things like that. I'm like, instead of having her
Mhm.
wait until her stylist get there, "What are you having done, Miss Joyce? What are you having done? You getting your regular? Okay, let me go shampoo you, get you ready, so that way when your stylist get in here, this is gonna make it much faster for her to get out." So I would do things like that too. So in that sense, no, like I can't really think of it was more like if I saw a need, I would sweep up the floor,
Mhm.
like, the shampoo people were busy. Let me go ahead and sweep the floor up. Not wait for the shampoo person to go ahead and do it. Let me go ahead and do it because they're busy. It's a really busy day. What do you have towels on your thing? Let me take care of that for you. Usually that was what I would do. So no, I didn't have anything to answer your question. That I felt like I was too proud to do or not do for that instance.
Mhm.
Um,
So, admittedly, there have been times in my life when I've been too proud, or I would say too ashamed, or
mhm.
I was too invested in something to ask for help.
Okay.
I
Okay.
remember struggling financially
Mm.
and then struggling to ask for help. And,
Mm.
this was a whole situation, and I mentioned this briefly in a previous episode where it was a former boss. Well, he wasn't even my direct boss, but it was a situation where he had some prejudices related to race, gender,
Mm.
and
Wow.
age, like the trifecta, and made my life miserable. I
Mm.
wound up leaving that position, which was a good thing
Mhm.
in the sense where it brought me to where I am currently teaching.
Okay.
But at the same time, one of the places where I was supposed to work, what wound up happening was he left where we both were previously,
Mhm.
and unbeknownst to me, he got hired at this place where I got a part-time position.
Mm.
And they said, "We received some disturbing information about you. We're going to need to recant the job offer." And it was so upsetting.
Mm.
So at the time, I'm juggling multiple adjunct positions, and I lost that one, which was going to give me 2 courses. So when struggling financially, I had some money saved, but it was enough for about 6 months, and so then at that point, I'm in my own apartment, and I'm starting to struggle, and
Mm.
I'm my goodness, let me just tell you, Dollar Tree, you can get some good stuff from Dollar Tree
Yes,
if
you
you really
can.
need to. So
Yes, you can.
I'm buying, like, food from the Dollar Tree and trying to make it
Mhm.
work, and
Mhm.
but the point of this story is I couldn't bring myself to ask for help,
Mm.
and I was trying my best to figure it out on my own, and it became
Mhm.
such a huge burden that I was already stressed prior to leaving the job, and while
Mhm.
the stress was alleviated some when I left and I had these part-time positions, it was just building back up again because of this financial burden. And
Mhm.
once I finally decided I'm going to say something to my mom, and at the time Sean, he was still my husband, well, was my husband at the time, but he was
Mhm.
living in Virginia, and I mentioned it to him. Not that I was expecting him to say, "And here is some money," but he says, "I'll help you, would it help you if I give you money towards your rent or something like
Mhm.
that?" Because I just
Mhm.
was like, "I just need to pick up another course. I need to do something." So
Mhm.
but me sitting on that burden and to use that phrase, to be too proud to mention it to someone or to be ashamed to ask
Right.
for help, it
Right.
really put me in a bind. And once I finally said, "You know what? I'm going to share, I'm going to reach out,"
Mhm.
I was able to breathe again and make moves.
Mhm.
Have you ever struggled in that way?
I struggle to ask for help. So, no. Yeah, because I don't I will ask for help.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah, I will ask for help. I definitely will ask for help. Um, huh. Not r I kinda do ask I will ask for help, most definitely. Yeah, I don't have a problem with ask for help, but I have a selective few people who I ask for help
Yeah,
from,
that's
because
good.
these are the core people who know for a fact that they're gonna get my help. So it's a reciprocal thing where I
Mm-hmm.
know if I know for a fact that this person will and I've helped them, I don't have a problem with asking you. But if I don't know, then I won't ask that. So I have more of a problem with not earlier in my life, not showing emotion in front of people. That
Mm.
would be a more of a no too proud to cry in front of someone. That one, I got over that one, but that one, that was a big one. That was a big one. I would not do it. I would not do it. You wouldn't see it. You definitely wouldn't see it. I mean, even when I was a little girl, the one time that I did get into a fight, I got beat up. She tore me up. She ain't never see a tear. She
Mm.
never saw a tear because I was not gonna let it happen. No matter how much pain I was in, I wasn't gonna let it happen. So that's the kind of person that I used to be up until a certain stage where it just could the whole thing just broke loose. And that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. If it has to happen, it's happening. But back then, it would not happen. It just and then I remember even if it did, if I would feel shame that came with it, like you were weak.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
was a thing of you're not strong, you're weak. So
Mhm.
that was something I remember that one. I remember that one. But yeah, that was one. That
Yeah.
was one. Yeah.
And I mean, I think that definitely we have that in common in terms of trying to mask our
Mm.
emotions or
Yeah.
not wanting to show that and
Right.
being proud or stoic, and what's
Yes.
interesting is that's usually what guys try to do,
I know.
but I think that it is looked at, and when I was younger, I was told that a lot. It's looked at as a sign of weakness. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, I would be upset about things and I might
Mhm.
cry, or I would try to do it in private if I could, but
Mhm.
I was an
Right.
emotional person and it was
Yeah.
difficult for me though.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. And I think
Mhm.
that for me, the part that was difficult when I mentioned about struggling financially is in taking that leap of faith
Mhm.
with leaving a job and saying I'm going to pick up these part-time jobs and then having a couple of people say, are you sure that's the right decision? So I think that if the people who are in my corner are saying, are you sure that's the right decision? And then I find myself in this predicament where I'm having financial difficulty,
Mhm.
that then makes it that much more difficult to ask for help, especially if it's from the people who said, "Are you sure you're making the right choice?" So I
Right.
think that
Right.
that makes it tricky too, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So I came across these different sources, and they were actually suggesting that being proud leads to stagnation and
Mm.
complacency.
Mm.
And I mean, to me, I think it's important to be proud in some capacity or to
Mhm.
celebrate ourselves and to, I guess, to use the song, Janet Jackson's song, What Have You Done For Me Lately? I
Mhm.
understand that, like, because there's
Right.
some people who are proud of what they did, and you're saying, wasn't that like 30 years ago? I get that.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
I think it's important to celebrate ourselves and to be proud from
Mhm.
time to time because
Mhm.
if we keep on just I'm guilty of doing this, just full steam ahead, what's next? What's next? That we don't take any time to celebrate. I don't know how healthy that is either. So I
Mhm.
don't know what are your thoughts? Do you think that being proud leads to stagnation or complacency where we just are
No. No, I think that if you're leading to stagnation, that that's a personality type. That's a
uh-huh.
personality type. It's not necessarily. I don't think it has to do with them being proud. Like let's say like in a way you can attribute it to like a football player or something. He was a high school football player, but he never achieved anything else in life after that. And he's still talking about
Mhm.
his high school football years, and that was when he peaked and he has nothing else to show for it at this point. That would be an instance where you're still talking about that, but what are you doing now? Like you said, like Janet Jackson's song,
Yeah.
that would be that. But if you went on a steady projection, I don't think that the proud thing had anything to do with it. I think that he got kind of like lazy in a
Mhm.
way. Or maybe life happened to him and
Mhm.
something happened and he couldn't achieve more than that and he's still talking about that. So I kind of think that no, I think that that doesn't have anything to do with it because you should be proud of what you do. You should be definitely proud of what you do. You can celebrate it, but not necessarily like you're proud, but it doesn't demean someone else's. This is my
Mhm.
accomplishment on my own. It doesn't mean that I'm better than anyone else because they don't have that. It just
Mhm.
means this is what I'm proud of. I feel like proud keeps you going. It keeps you going. I think it's motivating actually. Like I'm proud of this and you want to keep it up. So it's like you proud of this, then okay, so what else? What's the next? I think my brother said it really great. He told me one time, it should always be a goal. You know, like when I took off the weight, he said, so now what's the next goal? Because you're goal oriented. So what's the next
Mhm.
goal? The next goal is keeping it off. That goal right there is life. That's for life. That's for life. Because soon as you take your eye off that ball, then it's going to go back. And then you're still talking about, oh, well, yeah, I lost like 70 pounds years ago. People looking at you like, oh, you look like you.
Well, you gained it back and
Did
some.
you,
I'm
did
not
you
you,
gain it
but
back? When did you lose? I was successful. You can't mention that now. You can't mention
mhm.
that you were successful years ago if you don't look successful now.
Yeah.
You don't. You just
Yeah.
really got to keep that to yourself. You can keep that internally. You can be still proud of it. Like, okay, that means that I have it within me to do it. but
Mhm.
it's not something that you're gonna be mentioning to people. You're something you're gonna keep in your mind because as soon as you mention it to them, they're gonna look at you and be like, "Oh, what's going on then?"
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So, I
Mhm.
think if you're proud of something that you did years and years ago, and it really doesn't look like you're that much of a success now, you can internally be proud still. I don't think you should talk about it, though.
So keep it to yourself.
It's good to have these internal dialogues because that
Mhm.
may keep it maybe that helps for you to know that you did this at some point in time in your life. You were this person in one time. You were that person. You were that girl,
Mhm.
you were that guy. Now, that mean within you, it's always there. I have to pull it out one day, you know? Yeah.
And with you saying that, it makes me think about that's one of the reasons that I don't talk often about when I used to rap, except people who know that I did,
Mm,
because
mhm,
that was years ago, and it's something
mhm,
that I enjoyed doing, and I was
mhm,
proud of it because it allowed me to break out of my shell
mhm,
and to be a go-getter and be on
mhm,
stage and not be shy and
mhm,
all of this, but at the
mhm,
same time, I don't want anyone saying, "Well, what have you done lately?"
mm,
Or are you just holding on to these dreams of the past? And that's not it at all. So I don't bring it up that often. But I know
mm.
that Michelle, my best friend, and a few others, they're like, you should
Yes.
still be doing something and this and that.
Uh-huh,
And I, I,
uh-huh.
I feel like they're proud of me
Mhm.
and that makes me feel good too, and it even makes me
Right.
think about there's, count countless songs out there in all these
Mhm,
different genres with the
mhm,
word proud. We got Proud
mhm,
Mary, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, Make You
mhm.
Proud, Proud of
Right,
You, uh, Proud, just the
right.
list goes on and on. So
Mhm.
I'm wondering, what do you think the lure is for people just wanting to feel proud?
Maybe well, I think I really do think it keeps you going mentally,
Yeah.
because if you're not, then you have to be proud of yourself. It's not really a thing like what we were discussing. Having your parents be proud of you is something that you do strive for. You want that to happen. Every child
Mhm.
wants the parents to be proud of them, but I feel like it should be a given when it comes to your
Yeah.
parents. It's certain things that like we impart unconditional love. That should be your child should never have to wonder, do are they loved? They are always loved, even the parents who don't say it all the time. I didn't come from a family that was always said they love you. Matter of fact, it was very rare, but I always
Mhm.
knew that I was loved. So that's a given. I didn't have to try to do things to make them love me. That was already there. I think that that part for parents it should be already there. But the part of being proud for yourself, that's a little difficult. When you being
Yeah.
proud of yourself is more difficult than wondering if this person's proud of you. It's like, am I proud? You know? And that's the
Mhm.
first line thing right there. You should be internally want to be proud of yourself. Because if you're not, then I think mentally it's gonna hard for you to move, to do
Mhm.
things, to how do you view yourself? Who are you? Who am I to me? I'm this person who does this and does that and does this. Otherwise, it's like maybe it could bring envy also if you're not.
Mhm.
Maybe you're envious of what other people have if you're not proud of what you already have or what you have accomplished,
Mhm.
which is different than what they have and what they can accomplish. It may be even different than what you even want to accomplish. Maybe I don't have any desire to do that, even if I had the capability. But I think that
Mhm.
everybody should be proud, but not and I'm trying to search for the word, not cocky or arrogant. Arrogant, that's the
Mhm.
word. Arrogant, not arrogant. Never arrogant.
Mhm.
Yeah, never that. So
And you bringing that up, and then you also mentioned the idea of people potentially envying others.
Mhm.
It makes me think about the difference between being proud and having pride, especially it's mentioned a lot with religion, like in the
Mm.
Bible, pride is usually viewed as
Oh, yeah,
something
pride goes
negative,
before
like
the
it's
fall. Yes.
disruptive. Yes,
Yes,
it's
that's true. That's true.
sinful and
That's true.
you don't want to be you don't want to have pride in that way, but being
Mm,
proud, that's something that can bring joy, and
yes.
it could be a recognition of God's work and, like, the idea of
Mhm.
job well done, and I think that
Most
that's the tricky
definitely.
part, like, maybe some people, they are having a difficult time going one way or the
Mhm.
other. So it makes it that much more difficult for them to be proud of themselves because they're afraid that it's going to be interpreted as being prideful, you
Mm.
know? So,
Which
because I,
is
yeah,
arrogant. That's
uh-huh,
that's what I interpret being prideful as more of an arrogance. That's
mm-hmm,
is a difference. Is a difference. That's a difference. Is arrogant in my mind means that I feel better because of my accomplishments.
mm-hmm,
If I'm a salon owner and I look down on someone who's renting a booth and I feel as though, what is she doing? How long has she been a stylist? That is
mm,
arrogance on my part. That's not being proud of myself. That's being
mm-hmm,
arrogant and looking down at someone. That is what I believe that's the whole definition of being pride goes before the fall.
mm-hmm,
That type of thing. It's not a positive thing. It's not something you would teach your
yeah,
children to be. It's not something you don't
mm-hmm,
look down on. If you're looking down on someone based off of your own things that you've accomplished, and that makes you better than someone in some way. That's the kind of pride thing I think that people, um, yeah, they need to turn away from that.
yeah.
Quite
Yeah, and
frankly.
I think it certainly can be difficult when there's so much out there that is suggesting that people have to be perfect and have to be
Mm,
top notch. So then when they're
mm,
looking at what someone else is doing, I think it can be difficult to say,
mhm.
I want that too. How come I'm not as
Yeah,
far along as they are?
right.
And to just, I like every once in a while I'll see these different reels that say it's me against me, meaning
Mhm.
that I'm just in this competing against myself. And I think the
Right.
problem is when we're looking at what so many other people are doing, it makes us feel small in some instances, or it makes it difficult for some people to feel proud of themselves
Mhm,
because maybe you did something great. It's like perhaps okay, I'm going to give an example.
mhm,
You bake these wonderful sweet potato pies,
mhm.
right? And you this last time, you made the one that had the swirl in there with the purple sweet potato and everything, and so there might be someone who, they just make sweet potato pies, and they think they're great and everything. They're proud of their sweet potato pie, and here
Mhm,
they come, and then you're like, "Yes, and mine has a purple sweet potato," and you're like, "What?
mhm.
Huh."
Yeah, what's
And they
that?
can still be proud of theirs. They
Right,
can still
right.
be proud of theirs, but they
Mhm.
see yours and they're comparing it and they're automatically saying to themselves, I guess mine is no good anymore. And I think
Mm,
that that's part of the issue is that we can be proud in our own right. And it doesn't have to be that someone's doing something better or someone has one-upped us or something like that. And
right.
but I think you can still be proud of yourself and proud of someone else
Mhm.
simultaneously, you
Yes, you
know?
can.
Like to
Yes, you
use the
can.
pie, there's enough slices of
Yep.
pie
That's
for us
that's the
all.
truth. That's
Yeah.
the truth. That's the truth. That is absolutely the truth. Right. It's plenty of delicious pies. There's plenty of
Yes.
delicious pies. Mine just happened to be one of them. That's all. So,
Yes. Okay, so here's one last question for fun.
mhm.
If you were a dog, what dog breed would you be and why?
Okay. So I wrote it down because I am not familiar. So I wrote it down because I did do my
Uh-huh.
research. So I got to get it now. So let's get to it. All right. So if I were a dog, and this is based off of my own personality, it
Huh?
said I would definitely be like a golden retriever, which they are friendly, funny, and fiercely loyal. And they make people feel comfortable and bring positive energy wherever they go, which that's what I try to do. I try to make
Huh?
people comfortable wherever I go. Like if I see someone looking kind of sad, then I'm like, "Oh, you okay?" That kind of thing. And That I've always been that way, even when I was, like, in kindergarten. The new kid who came into the class, I'm all like, "Are they okay? Hi, I'm Tracy. What's your name? What, wanna play rope?" Trying to find something that they want to do and wondering why they're sitting by themselves and bring them on over with me and let's jump some rope. Find a common ground. So that suits me. If that's that kind of yeah, that suits me. That's who I would be.
Awesome. So, what dog breed do you think I would be and why?
So, yeah, I looked you up too. So you would be So you are very smart, kind, responsible, and always in motion. So you would be a border collie, and it has a caring energy that really stands out. That's what I say. What you think?
Awesome.
Okay.
I love it. You know why I love it? Because you gave yourself a golden retriever, and a few previous guests, they all said golden retriever for me.
Did
So,
they? So they're friendly too?
yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
so I love that. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
take it. Yeah, because
Alright.
they tend to win a lot of those AKC uh
Okay.
different events. So, yeah, I love
Mhm.
that dog. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Alright.
okay, so I know this is corny to say, but I'm so proud to have you as my friend and guest today.
Proud of
I
you as
really
well.
am. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
uh, and to you, the listener, it's okay to be proud of yourself. And in this moment, I hope that you'll reflect on something that you've accomplished and be proud of yourself in that moment. And I'm not too proud to ask you to share this episode with your friends and family. And while you're at it, please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Tricks My Dog Taught Me. Until next time, when I get into week 13's poem, You Barking at Me, here's something to ponder, inspired by my little guy, Zach the Toy Poodle. Are you allowing your pride to hinder your pursuit of dreams due to less than perfect timing, place, or role? Keep in mind that dreams can begin in any circumstance, regardless of your position. Take care, and I'll see you next week.